Hello and welcome to QUTV Sports this week. I'm Tony Lundy.
And I'm Tyler Menendez. Quincy University students had the chance to dip in the coldest pool in Illinois.
And QU's NCAA football team tested out a new app for your phone.
Baseball migrated south for some warm weather to start the season, and that's where we begin today. The QU baseball team just recently returned from a trip down south. They played 3 different southern teams throughout the trip, including the nation's #1 ranked Tampa Spartans. Aside from getting out of the cold and playing some good competition, for some, it served as a family reunion. The Quincy Hawks baseball team packed up and headed south for the past couple of weeks. They rolled into Tampa, Florida to go toe-to-toe with the #1 team in the nation. The University of Tampa's top-notch facilities and top-notch weather made this quite the solid start location to the season. However, there is more than meets the eye to just this story and this weekend series in Tampa. There definitely was a small handful of families that made the trip down here to Florida just to get out of the cold of the Midwest. But for some other families, this is the best chance they'll get to see their sons play baseball in their whole college career. And for some, it was reunion, and for others, a birthday gift.
Yeah, to play in front of my family on my birthday was a great thing because in Quincy, I'm about 18 hours driving from them. So to come out on the field and to see them in the stand supporting me, especially on my birthday, was just a great thing to see. And after the game, took some pictures, had some cake, and it was a great time after.
Aside from baseball and birthdays, the Hawks got out of the hotel and into the suburbs. Leighton Palmer, a pitcher for the Hawks, hosted the team at his family's house for dinner.
It was a little awkward at first having all the guys in my house, but it was nice to get the whole team out of the hotel, get some good meals in them, and it was really nice for my parents to meet most of the team. My mom was happy that all the guys could come over. She'd get to meet the team and the coaches, so that was a really good experience.
An experience it was. From beating the best team in the country to baseball birthdays, it's pretty safe to say this is a trip these Hawks won't forget anytime soon. On the baseball side of things, the Hawks may not have won the series down in Tampa. However, they did prove that they can hang with the best teams in the country. We now turn to Lindsay Fisher, who has our week's sports highlights. Lindsay?
The QU baseball team finished their trip down south with a 3-game series against Georgia Southwestern State. The Hawks started off Game 1 with a bang as they scored 2 in the first inning thanks to David Broughton double, but Georgia Southwestern had an answer at the bottom of the half as they put up 5 in the first to answer back. The Hawks would find some life in the late innings with an RBI triple from Jake Vitale, but it wasn't enough as the Hurricanes took Game 1 by a score of 14-5. Game 2, the Hawks started the same as the first game as they got on the board first. Kobe Eason shut down the Hurricanes' offense through 4 as Joe Huffman and Isaiah Fudge helped increase the lead to 4. The Hurricanes answered back in the 5th with a 3-run homer to cut the lead to 1. As the 6th and 7th, the team traded runs. With a clutch pitching from the Hawks down the stretch, they took home the 5-4 the third game. The Hurricanes jumped out to a big lead to start as they were up 5-0. The Hawks would climb their way back as they scored in the 5th through 8 innings to tie the game at 7. But the Hurricanes would answer back in the 8th to take the game 3, 11-7. The Hawks are back at home this weekend as they take on the Colorado School of Mine in a 4-game series. The opponent that comes around once a year to Pepsi Arena Saturday, the McKendree Bearcats, rolled into Quincy, Illinois, trying to reign on the Quincy Hawks' 14-game win streak. The Hawks in the white looking to make it 15 in a row. We start with Nicole McDermott, pull-up jumper. She made her presence known all night, as you've seen here. McDermott makes the pass to Samira Williams for the layup. Williams had 17 in this game, the leading scorer though. McDermott, who took it coast to coast, off the steal for 2 of her 19 points in the game. Coach Boyd was fired up. Hawk fans were fired up, and McDermott was fired up as she knocks down this triple to lead to 88-76 victory over the McKendree Bearcats. Following the women's game, the men looked to snap an 8-game losing streak as they welcomed the McKendree men's team to town. The Hawks again in white. We kick it off with Jake Hamilton spinning, leaving the McKendree defender in the open as Hamilton lays it in for 2. Then we come back to Hamilton with this move, this time using the right for the tough bucket. We flip it over to Cameron Kincaid, who finds a lane and finishes with a knife floater over the McKendree defender. Quincy tries to get their young guys in the mix, as the freshman Terrence Stein knocks down this three. He's fired up trying to get the Hawks going. Then Kincaid catches the Bearcats sleeping as he finds Logan Robbins underneath the rim for this layup. That wouldn't be enough though, as the Hawks dropped this one by a score of 76-62. On February 22nd, the women then went on to compete at home against the Maryville Saints. The Hawks looked to continue their impressive streak, but the Saints had other plans. As we see here, the Hawks in white look to capitalize on the historic run along the Pepsi Arena, having its 75th anniversary celebration. The Hawks would get things going as we see number 10, Tava Stevenson, was found down in the paint as an easy lay. Carson Stratton was also getting in the tone early as a game with a baseline pull-up for two. The Saints were going quickly from downtown from Janice Dawson, who would answer back with a three of her own. Pepsi Arena was electric with the students showing strong support for these Lady Hawks. Just to add to the help, Samira finds Nicole McDermott, who was hot from beyond the arc, as she had 5 threes in this game. The second half started slow for the Hawks until this McDermott mid-range shot. The Hawks would be down 7 halfway through the third, but the Hawks found some spark as Janice Dawson hits a shifty pass through 2 defenders to Taylor Haase, who gets this layup. The bench was fired up after that. The Hawks started firing up on all cylinders as Stevenson finds McDermott in the corner again for a three. She would finish the day with 28 points herself. Marianne Blash showed up strong in the fourth with a deep three-pointer to keep the Hawks within 2 scores. But the Saints would hold on as they won 94-86, handing Quincy their first loss since December 20th. Quincy goes on the road to play the GOVC contender Lewis University Thursday. QU men's basketball team took on Maryville at home. The Hawks aimed to end their 9-game losing streak, and this was their moment to do it. The Hawks showed up in white jersey while the Saints had black and red on. Starting the game with a good attack, number 11, Cameron Kincaid from the Hawks makes a clean 3-point shot. A key player throughout the game was number 20, Max Boer, who scored the most points overall, finishing with a total of 23 points. He contributed with everything from 2-point shots to 3-pointers. Many fans showed up to cheer for the Hawks. The defense was a big factor though in this game for the Hawks, securing the victory. Number 30, Elle Seeger, comes up with a big block that it keeps the Saints from scoring. There are some good passes around the Hawks, and it lands in the hands of number 10, Logan Robbins, who dunks the ball in the basket. Coach Brad Hoyt was fired up during this game, and he made sure the Hawks were in shape. Another good 3-point shot from number 0, Jake Hamilton. The Hawks came up with a good team effort of passing the ball around and being patient. Drills and skills made number 5, Joshua Butcher, to throw the ball and secure the point for the Hawks. The game ended up being a historic one for the Hawks as number 11, Cameron Kincaid. The Saints tried to score, but the Hawks snapped it up and sent the ball in his arms of Kincaid, who scored his number 1,000th point. The Hawks broke the streak, and team effort led to the Hawks winning 82-75. The Hawks' next match is away against Lewis University. Hopefully the Hawks with this win will turn their streak into a winning streak. The women's bowling team traveled to Lincoln, Nebraska for the Big Red Invite. The women's team finished 8th place overall, top performers being Hayden Bennett, who averaged a 183, securing a 23rd place finish, and also finishing 25th with a 173 average is Hannah Herdklotz. The next tournament the Hawks will compete in is a Music City Classic in Smyrna, Tennessee, March 14th.
Thank you, Lindsay. Tyler, you would not believe the opportunity Pepsi offered the fans in attendance for their 75th anniversary.
Was it that half-court shot challenge?
Yes, it was.
Well, stay tuned with us to see if anyone had the chance for $5,000.
The celebration of the 75th anniversary of Memorial Gymnasium Pepsi Arena took place during the women's and men's basketball game against Maryville University. The 75th anniversary was celebrated with free drinks from Pepsi and the possibility to win cash prizes. The day featured an intense matchup against Maryville University, but the halftime show stole the spotlight. In order to participate, you had to buy any blue ticket. Then it was a lottery about to see who had the chance of making a $5,000 basket. In the women's halftime, the participants competed in a 3-point shot challenge in order to win merchandise. 4 people tried to win, but there was only one winner in the men's halftime show. Let's hear it for Zach Oshman on how he made the half-court shot.
Just close my eyes and put the ball up, and next thing you know, $5,000, me and David are holding it, and we're gonna rock the house with it.
Oshman sank the impossible half-court shot, securing the $5,000 prize to the roar of the crowd. He says he's going to put the money into a savings account. Quincy University Athletics have had a lot of new hires on this year's staff, one being new softball assistant coach Annika Gels. Lindsay Fisher takes a dive into Coach Gels' life and what she does for the softball team.
Annika Gels is a new addition to the Hawks softball program. She specializes in pitching as she was a pitcher at her former college, Thomas More University. The Hawks love her spark at practice and her go-get-it attitude.
Just the energy she brings, and she brings a lot of intention at practice, and she also pushes the pitchers and just the rest of the team just to get better every day.
Coach Gels works hard at bullpen by giving each pitcher feedback. She encourages to work on spin pitches and to get ahead of batters in the count. She also loves to watch the Hawks grow and be a part of their softball journey.
Being an assistant coach here at QU gives me an opportunity to watch the girls compete at a high level every day and watch them get better at what they love to do.
She takes some weight off head coach Kathy Monroe's shoulders by helping with infield work. Coach Gels loves making reps challenging for the Hawks by pushing them to the limit. She takes drills seriously as if she was a part of them and interacts with the Hawks while helping them reach their full softball potential. Her young energy and passion rubs off on the Hawks and makes them want to succeed. Lindsay Fisher, QUTV News, Quincy.
Nutrition is key to any athlete's success. Quincy University is looking to take it to the next level. This spring, the school has introduced a new app that could help with that process.
The app is called Teamworks Nutrition and is still being fully developed. The QU football team has been tasked with trying it out and finding bugs. The app has been helpful in setting players on the right path through their nutrition.
It's been very useful to see what guys understand from a nutrition side of things. Guys are able to log their calories, especially it helps being with the cafeteria. Guys are knowing what they're supposed to eating, what macronutrients there are, like protein, carbs, fats that they're putting into their body. So we're really excited to kick this thing off.
Teamworks Nutrition is linked directly to the CAF, so setting up meal plans is easy with the click of a button. While training is important, nutrition is arguably the most important factor in an athlete's day. Tracking nutrition is one of the easiest ways to maximize performance.
To really make this kick off, but I think it's going to be huge in setting us apart with other teams, especially in conference. I think we're the only program in our conference to have this type of technology.
With it being a new app, of course there are going to be a few bugs here and there, so that's why the surveys are being sent out to the football players to get rid of those bugs and make sure the app is running as smoothly as possible for when it's released to the entire school. Ryan Capps, QTV News, Quincy.
Quincy University has been in a storied rivalry with McKendree University in Lebanon, Illinois for over 150 years. From the gridiron to the court and even the golf course, the Bearcats rivalry is well known on campus. This week, the rivalry had another installment in Pepsi Arena as the Hawks split games with MU, but the history of the rivalry spans all the way back to the early days of sports in the state. Since the late 1800s, the Hawks and Bearcats have been fighting to determine who is the best in the greater Midwest. The rivalry is most prevalent in football with the addition of the new Battle for the Land of Lincoln trophy. The close proximity of the schools and the fact that a lot of athletes come from St. Louis fuel the rivalry. Old friends become bitter rivals with lots of trash talk that starts online and ends up on the field. That leads to chippy games with more personal fouls or technical foul penalties than any other game on the schedule. I also heard that the swim team competed in conference recently.
Yeah, and good thing that it was indoors. Otherwise, I think that pool would be frozen over. But coming up next, we get a look at the swim team competing in conference and how Tyler brought the warm weather back to Quincy.
I was going to say those look like boxes. Quincy University Hawks swim team has recently traveled to Elkhart, Indiana for their GLVC conference meet. This meet started on Tuesday, February the 11th, and ended that Saturday the 15th. QUTV's Grant Owen takes us on the deck with a glimpse of what the week looked like for the Hawks.
The Hawks took a trip up to Elkhart, Indiana for their big conference meet. It was a long week for the team, with some swimmers battling sickness. The team still found a way to improve their last year's performance in a very improved conference in just a year. The GLVC in the swimming world is considered by some people as the fastest conference for swimming outside of the Power 5 conferences in Division I. With a handful of Olympians, respective national holders, and national champions in the conference, any improvement is respectable.
Our point total from last year, we set 9 team records. I do think we end up in the same place as we were last year, which was, I think, frustrating to do so much better, but kind of still be wherever we were.
Doubled their score from last year while also setting plenty of team records and personal bests. While the men's team fell short of qualifying really for nationals, the Hawks made big strides points-wise, scoring 27 more points than last year's total in a heavily improved men's side of the conference.
Long meet as well. Great environment, a lot of fast swimming, and like I said, I had one big major takeaway from that, just learning to swim in the morning, and I think everything else was good. A lot of people went season best.
For most of the Hawks, the offseason starts now, but for some, Nationals is right around the corner. Grant Owen, QUTV News, Elkhart, Indiana.
Well, I don't know about you fellows, but I'm getting pretty used to this warm weather we're having recently. I could get used to all the sunshine for sure.
Well, that's because you were in Florida. Now here, it was miserable. We had 10-degree weathers, and that's just not for me. But it seems that you had brought back the warm weather with us, so that's good.
Yeah, it's definitely a good part because it was ignorant cold, so the baseball team did bring back the warm weather. But let's take a look at that forecast real quick. One thing I did learn is that gerbil in Pennsylvania is wrong. It is nice and warm here in beautiful Quincy, Illinois, and we are waiting for a bunch of great more weather through this week. And you know what? If I wasn't in a suit right now, I'd be in shorts and flip-flops, gentlemen, because it is absolutely beautiful outside, and we get sunshine and no clouds in the sky for the rest of the week. Let's look at that. So our little almanac today, we have a 60-degree high with a 37-degree low, just above our average high of 44 degrees, and just above our average low for our record today. And then you have records going back to 2000, which that was 70 degrees, which is definitely what Tampa is feeling like right now, Tyler, as well as in 2010, we were at 1 degree, not Celsius, Fahrenheit, so it was very cold. As well, we had temperature for today. We got 60 degrees, beautiful skies here in Quincy, Illinois. Sunny skies, a little bit windy, about gusts going up to 15 miles an hour, about west to northwest area. So you might want to still have that little beanie in your car just in case your ears get really cold very easily. As well, Wednesday night you're still going to have just above freezing temperatures at 37 with clear skies with west-northwest winds at 11. Still nice and chilly, so if you like the cold weather, don't worry. The nights in Quincy still have you covered. As well, we go into Thursday, 58 degrees, so still pushing that 60 mark as well. Sunny skies, a little bit more windy, so you might want to have that little hoodie up if you're on a phone call so it doesn't get any distortion. As well, we're going to go into the weekend forecast. Friday, we got a high of 66, so it's going to be beautiful going into this Mardi Gras weekend. And then Friday evening, we have 37 degrees Fahrenheit. Still wind gusts near 15 miles an hour for the whole weekend as well. 43, it drops down a little bit for the high on Saturday. And we go to the 7-day forecast here. Again, you have that early week of nice warm weather. Going into next week, you do have a little bit of rain coming into the forecast as well. Let's take a look so you can get a full look at that. Monday, you have 56 degrees, as well as you're pushing 60 again on Tuesday. And on Wednesday, you're dropping back down to 46. But one thing you got to notice is Tuesday and Wednesday next week, we're going to have a little bit of showers here in Quincy. And that is what's in for our forecast this week, gentlemen.
Well, thank you, Carter, for the update on the weather. It really does seemed like a relief to have this warm weather creeping in lately.
Yeah, I completely agree, Tony. And coming up next, we will see why some Hawks voluntarily got wet and cold for a cause.
Some QU students decided to take a plunge in support of Special Olympics Illinois. QU recently hosted the annual Polar Plunge at The Rock. Participants who were able to raise $100 had the option to take a jump into some freezing water. This year, the event was able to raise over $20,000.
So the Polar Plunge is our largest fundraiser of the year. Without the Polar Plunge, what we do is impossible. So we hold Polar Plunges in communities all across the state in the months of February and March. We love having this event here at Quincy University. It's a fantastic venue for the event, and we've been really pleased to see this event grow year after year, thanks to the support of Quincy University and all of our great sponsors here in Quincy.
The other event hosted in Quincy each year is a bowling tournament. Special Olympics Illinois always needs help with both volunteers at individual events as well as coaches for the athletes. Anybody interested in helping can visit at soil.org to find more information.
The Polar Plunge may have been really cold.
Yeah, I don't think I could have jumped into that water. It was way too cold. Hopefully I could throw people into that water.
Well, you know, I was down in Tampa, and it was only like 80 degrees, so that pool was kind of cold.
You know, Tyler, you don't have to make us all jealous here. We wish we were there with you as well. Thank you for watching QUTV Sports. I'm Tony Lundy, and if you want to see more content like this, check us out on social media at QU Media and QUmedia.net.